Hendrie. 1-800-449-8686.
Jeffrey Dowder is with us, who has a haunted mansion that caused some controversy with kids and parents last year. And that boy, his name was Jeffrey Taylor?
Yes, sir. And he was the only child that was injured.
You had last year a haunted mansion in Anaheim Hills called the Mystery Hills Haunted Mansion that the children spent the night in.
Yeah, well the children were brought and left by their parents, and they spent the night with us, and we created a haunted mansion atmosphere for them. And we had a climax to the night where we told the children that the vampires would attack, or that the head vampire would attack. And that the boy was so scared that he jumped out of an attic window. It was a small attic window that he leapt from. We then found out from his parents, or I found out, his parents claimed that they told Toby and my girlfriend Tina.
Now let's get the principles here. Toby, Bo, and Tina.
Tina James
is your girlfriend. They were told by this boy's parents that he was retarded?
Apparently they said that he was mentally retarded, yeah, and that they wanted to spend the night. And we told them they said the kid would be okay, but I didn't know that the kid was retarded.
All right, well, what happened?
Well, at the end of the night, my friend, Mr. Bo, had an injury in his life that we probably don't have to talk about it, but he had an injury where he lost his right eye. And he has a patch over his eye, and for this particular part of the haunted mansion, he takes the patch off, and his eye is kind of gnarly, and it has a scar, and it's white and gnarly. And so,
all right, we've got a big audience out there, Jeff. What do you mean by gnarly? Do you mean it looks pretty?
It looks
like it's mutilated.
Yeah, it looks mutilated, right, or mutilated, and he pulled it off. That's when the kid screamed and climbed out the window and jumped.
And you say this boy was retarded. He was dropped off by his parents, and you guys knew about this.
No, I didn't know about it. Toby says he doesn't know about it, and Tina says she doesn't, but the parents said they did say. If we'd known that the kid was retarded, we would never have allowed him at the haunted mansion to see Toby's eye. And that's why we told the city of Anaheim that, and they still won't license our haunted mansion. And we have been down there 4 times to get a haunted mansion license.
How much money did you make in this place? First of all, do you have to rent this out?
No, the home is donated to us. It's in the Crest of the Hills portion of Anaheim Hills, so it doesn't cost us anything. And we fix it up, and we're allowed to keep the money that we make from the haunted mansion.
How much do you charge?
We charge $10 a child, and adults are $15. We recommend that adults not come, but they can if they want to. The kids spend the night in the house.
How much money did you make last year on this, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know, probably close to $1,500, $2,000.
So you got kids coming in and out of the house all night, and then kids spending the night, and then you have your friend take the patch off his eye.
And
it's a messed up eye. What happened to his eye?
He was messing around basically with a bottle of oxygen that was in it was a glass bottle of oxygen that exploded, and he got a shard of glass into the eye, and
so he lost his vision in that eye, and he wears a patch over it.
But for the haunted mansion, he'll take it off.
So one child gets so scared he leaps out of a second-floor window. It's an attic window. How many feet down?
Probably about 25 feet. The kid's okay. The kid's okay now, but it shows that you cannot have a child not prepared because of mental retardation to go into the haunted house.
All right, Jeff Dowder is with us. 1-800-449-8686. These haunted houses that kids go into, every year there's some problem, isn't there?
Well, not really, Mr. Hendrie. I mean, if you do it right, you can certainly entertain the children the right way.
Well, I'm always hearing about some haunted mansion that's got some abortion scene, or it's got a murder scene, or something like this.
No, we don't do anything like that. We have goblins and ghosts. We do a Dracula scene, and we do a Frankenstein scene. And then and like I said, we have the vampire scene.
See, here's the thing that bothers me. An adult male taking a patch off of an eye that he had blown out with glass or something is going to scare me, let alone a poor little kid. And now you take a little kid who you say is retarded, and you think that made a difference?
Well, yeah, I do, because a normal kid isn't going to be as scared as an abnormal kid.
And you're referring to this retarded kid as abnormal?
Well,
all right. I mean, I agree that he's not perhaps as cognizant of things as a regular kid or another kid, but the fact is, he should be treated as a child. And when you show him an eyeball of a friend that's been blown out with glass.
But here's the thing about that. It looks realistic.
Well, I mean, a lot of stuff looks realistic. You take a kid down to the morgue and show him a dead body with the guts blown out of it. That looks realistic, too. You going to take a kid down there?
I'm not necessarily saying that's not... No, I wouldn't do that. But, I mean, Toby is fine. He's not hurt. What we're asking is this. We don't want... First of all, we want to get a license so we can have our haunted mansion back. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, we think if they keep certain kinds of abnormally developed kids out of there, and they could be of any kind of kid, they could, probably like a...
Well, spit it out.
Well, I mean, like a retarded kid or kids like that, we'd like to keep them out and just have the normal ones.
Were any of the normal kids scared to the point where they wanted to jump out of a window?
No.
But that was your dungeon scene where they were all tied down, right?
They were, yeah.
Was the retarded kid tied down, the Taylor boy?
Yes, he was. But this is something you need to know. Retarded kids have abnormal strength, and they can bust through ropes. Wait.
No,
it's true. I mean, if you've ever wrestled one for a baseball or anything...
No. That is what we call an old wives' tale. That's called an urban myth. That's not true, sir.
Well, I can tell you, Mr. Henry, having a haunted mansion now for 2 years, we've had some... And none of the other kids jumped out of the window but the retardation boy, so...
They were tied down. And you're saying the retarded boy jumped because he can break through the ropes?
Yes, sir.
Was he tied down?
To the best of my knowledge.
So it's possible he wasn't tied down?
To the best of my knowledge, yeah.
To the best of your knowledge, what? He was tied down or he wasn't tied down?
One of the things you need to know, Mr. Henry...
So you don't want to answer the question?
No, but one of the things you need to know is that a kid that has the tardation is as strong as perhaps, for instance, a chimp. And I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Are you talking about a chimpanzee?
Yes, sir. Those are extremely strong.
You're saying that a mentally retarded child is as strong as a chimpanzee?
Yes, sir. And have you ever seen how a chimp... Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're not equal to other people. But they're stronger than regular people. They're as strong as a chimp or one of them.
All right, so now you got this kid. He breaks through the ropes that he's supposed to be tied down to the floor with and jumps out of a window because your friend comes in with a gnarly eye.
Yes, sir.
And it's his fault.
It's the retarded kid's fault. Yes, sir.
And you want the city to give you a license for a haunted mansion, and you'll keep retarded kids out?
Yes, sir.
How are you going to do that?
Well, one of the things, not only are they as strong as the chimps or the chimpish areas, they do resemble, and okay, I want to be very careful about this.
Well, don't say what you're thinking, all right?
No, sir, but they do resemble chimp-like behavior. You can see that if you were running a haunted mansion anywhere in the greater LA area, and there are a lot of people who know it, okay, that they do look chimp-like.
Well, Jeff, I think you got a problem here, man.
Well,
No, I think you got a problem. Number one, a kid almost got killed jumping out of a window when your friend pulled a patch off of his eye to show his mutilated eye from an explosion. Number two, tying kids down to simulate a dungeon scene could be dangerous. And number three, assuming that a kid who suffers from some form of mental retardation is as strong as a chimpanzee is ignorant.
Well, I don't know if you've worked with kids, Mr. Hendrie, but I volunteered over at a gymnasium. I volunteered over at the Jungle Gym over here at the City Park, where a lot of those kids would come out. And the normal kids would be on the swing set, but the retardation kids would be going on the Jungle Gym, just swinging from one bar to the next. I told Tina to really keep an eye out for these kids, and if we get our haunted house license back, she's gonna.
1-800-449-8686. Is it time to get rid of these haunted mansions, these haunted houses, these places where they charge $5, the kid goes in? Every year there's a problem. Every year there's a Bible group that's got too many abortion scenes. This guy had a kid jump out of a third-floor window because his friend took a patch off of his eye, and apparently he had a messed-up eye from an explosion of some kind, not to mention the fact that they're operating. These are two guys. See, if you have a haunted mansion, isn't it like running a daycare center? It is in a way. And these are two idiots that think that retarded kids are as strong as chimps. That's what he said. And as the result, assumed the kid broke the ropes and jumped out of a third-floor window. 25-foot drop. The kid could have died. Fortunately, he's okay. Is it time to get rid of these haunted mansions? Should this guy get a license back for a haunted mansion for kids because he thinks somebody else made the mistake of letting a mentally retarded kid in who then jumped out of the window? 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. You're listening to The Phil Hendrie Show.
1-800-44...
I have a question for you, Mr. Dowder, before we get a phone call. Why would a child suffering from mental retardation react more extremely to a haunted mansion environment than a regular kid? In the case of your friend, Mr. Bowe, who pulled the patch off of his eye and showed the kids how messed up his eye was.
Well, because you have to understand something, Mr. Hendrie. A retarded kid doesn't know if he's even on Earth. I mean, he doesn't know where he is. So he may really think that's Dracula, a vampire.
A lot of kids believe they're seeing vampires.
Yeah, but a retarded kid to jump out of a window, most kids that think they see a vampire will call 911.
Well, I don't know if that's a fact, that if a kid saw a vampire, he'd call 911.
But that's what we train kids to do. We don't train them to go, oh, yeah, go over to that attic window and jump. Okay?
Did you tell the kids that Mr. Bowe's eye was injured because somebody tried to drive a stake through the vampire's eye?
Yes, that's part of the thing.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Stephanie, welcome to the Phil Hendrie Show with Jeff Dowder.
Hello.
Hi.
I wanted to let this guy know, first of all, I have a background working with special education children. I have a master's in education.
You're going to have to slow down for me, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm assuming that means mental retarded kids.
Special education is anybody with a physical or mental disability.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you know anything about civil rights, sir? If you deny a child access to your facility, irregardless of the mental...
You talking about Martin Luther King?
Do you know who Martin Luther King is?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I think I do. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, are you sure?
Well, if the lady
Because
wants to insult me, Mr. Hendrie...
Well, okay, look, but let's keep this on a civil plane if we could.
Because she's trying to say I'm stupid.
Well, yeah, kind of, but also I wanted to know if you know civil rights, because if you deny access to a child regardless of race, creed, color, or mental disability,
you talking about
will be
abortion?
sued.
Are you talking about abortion?
How am I getting at abortion when I tell you you just can't say no?
Because you're talking about kids. You're talking about, I don't support a woman's right to abort a retarded kid.
No. I'm getting back to the point with mental retardation.
She didn't say
children.
anything about abortion.
I don't know where you're going with abortion, sir. I'm not even touching on that. I'm asking you...
I thought you were talking about that a woman has a right to abort a mentally retardation kid.
No. I said, do you realize you have no right to leave a retarded child, not allow him into your facility? It's called civil rights. If you stop...
Wait a second. I'm supposed to let into the Mystery Hills Haunted Mansion, which could have been one of the best haunted mansions in the greater Orange County area. I'm supposed to let in there a kid that jumps out of the window just because Toby Bowe flashed his wonky eye, and now you're saying...
So do you let in black people?
I beg your pardon, ma'am?
You let in black people?
Black people aren't necessarily going to jump out of a window.
Not necessarily. Do you let in women?
Although black folks are
Sir,
supposedly
do you let in
more afraid
women?
of ghosts. I'm sorry?
Do you let in women?
Wait a minute. What do you mean black folks are more afraid of ghosts?
That's...
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
That,
Oh, my
I didn't
Lord.
say I believe that. That's what they say.
Boy, buddy, quit while you're ahead, man.
Oh,
Well,
my
wait a
Lord,
second.
buddy.
Wait
You
a
should just
second.
really take a course on civil rights before you
Oh,
get
wait a
involved,
second.
because you're
Wait.
entering a lawsuit.
Are you... What lawsuit? Who's going to sue me? And for what?
Somebody's parent their child knocks on your haunted house and you say you can't go in because you're mentally
Yeah,
retarded.
because they'll jump out of a window? Yeah. You're darn right.
Well, that you're heading for a lawsuit
Okay,
with
ma'am,
that,
let me
buddy.
ask you this. Are you supposed to let a heart condition patient in?
No,
No?
not
Are you
unless you
supposed to
have a
let
form
pregnant women in?
stating the heart condition. That you're supposed to not be
All right,
biased for race,
I
creed,
know that.
color.
I put up a sign that said, no retardation kids can
Oh,
come in.
God.
Well, I
Oh,
did.
man,
But
buddy.
if they can afford a lawyer, they can sue me. It's a little harder to keep track of black folks in a haunted house, too. And that's one of the things why you don't want to let them in.
Oh, you're unbelievable,
Oh, my
sir.
God.
I'm
Wait.
surprised they let you out of high school. Never mind let you
Yeah,
own
but
a business
the lady
of some
can't answer
sort.
my question, Mr. Henry.
Which is what?
Don't they have signs that say you can't have a heart condition patient?
Yes, they have signs. They have signs that say you can't be
No.
pregnant.
The sign actually says when you're going on a roller coaster,
Right.
be aware that if you have a heart condition, problems may occur. You don't see somebody on the front of a
Don't they
roller
keep
coaster
little tiny
saying,
kids
buddy,
off?
you have a pacemaker, don't come on.
Don't they keep little tiny kids off? Yes.
No, actually,
Yes, they
as
do.
I
They say if
understand
you
it,
go
the
to
parents'
Disneyland,
right.
if you go to Disneyland and go to Star Tours, you have to be as high as the lower part of the sign.
But do they
And-
ask you if you have a mental retarded condition, don't ride on Space Mountain?
What?
Do they say if you have a mental retardation program, don't ride on Space Mountain? That's basically what you're getting at. You're not getting at
If they say what? If they say if you have a
a mental retardation problem. Do they say you can't come in to see Mickey Mouse? Or go on Space
Mickey
Mountain?
Mouse is not Dracula. Dracula could scare a retarded kid into intelligence. That's how scared
buddy,
they
I'm going to
are.
get off the phone now because you know what? I'm too intelligent to deal with you.
Oh, I see.
Anybody
Oh,
in the
well,
general
I wish I was
population
you.
with any sense.
Yeah, I wish I was you. You're so above everybody.
Well, I'm sorry, but
Ma'am, the signs for the people, who are the ones that swallow their tongues? I forget what they're called.
epileptics?
Epileptic people, the ones that swallow their tongues.
Okay, yeah. Those ones are not allowed into any ride where you could go upside down, for instance, on the Hammer.
Why?
Because of the tongue will go back into the throat.
What?
Okay, you don't want to believe me, man. I worked as a carny for 5 years. I worked for Johnson Brothers, also worked the Vaughn's Carney, and I'm always at the Conejo Valley days working the octopus. Hello?
Listen, Mr. Henry, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for me trying to talk some sense into this man, but really I don't think anybody's going to be...
Well, what did I say that was wrong?
You're another form of a bigot, sir. That's all it is.
I'm a form of a bigot, and you even know that the epileptics swallow their tongue.
Sweetheart, I have a master's degree in this stuff. I've been working with it for over 10 years. Yes, I know about
Okay,
epilepsy.
what about the time I had to stick a comb in this guy's mouth because he's gurgling after the salt and pepper shaker? Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
happens,
that's
but
real
that
great,
doesn't
pal.
mean he's
All
any less...
right, Mr. Dowder runs a haunted mansion, and a retarded kid jumped out of the window of the haunted mansion last year. Are these haunted mansions, is it over for these things? His friends scared this kid. Now they're not going to let any retarded kids in because they say retarded kids are as strong as, quote, chimps and scare more easily. You're listening to The Phil Hendrie Show.
1-800-449-8686. The world-famous Phil Hendrie Show.
1-800-449-8686. And now more on The Phil Hendrie Show.
The voice of Jeff Dowder there was performed by me in that little bit of radio theater. That was me doing Jeff's voice, talking about his haunted mansion there at Mystery Hills, and the retarded kid that leapt from the third-floor window. And the character of the guy with no eye is based upon a guy that I used to know in Miami who actually did have a patch over his eye because he did blow out his right eye, pumping some oxygen into a glass bottle one night, and then also was popped flying his father's airplane over Fort Lauderdale Beach at 500 feet upside down. So these are some of the fine people that I've met down through my years. Our number is 1-800-449-8686. I've got this guest editorial that was written on my website by Lloyd Bonify. You really got to read this. It's on my website, philhendryshow.com, written by Lloyd. He's the owner of Bonify Heating and Plumbing in Alhambra, California, frequent guest on our program. And he's talking about the two men taken into custody as the snipers. Now, I told you these guys worked alone, and I was right. Turns out there were two of them, but whatever. They're not affiliated with Al-Qaeda. So how do you like me now? The only thing
But you need to understand that when a man goes into a confessional, he's not going to be telling you, Mary had a little lamb. You know, it's not. I'm not going to, talk to him about spitting on the sidewalk. You know, he's told you some sins, but I've not told you what the specificity of it is.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. I have Candy on the line for Father McQuarters. Candy, go ahead.
Hi, I'm just completely appalled with, I'm sorry, what is his name, Father?
I'm Father James McQuarters. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. From what I'm hearing from you, everything is I have listened and I have heard.
Well, I have.
Okay, but this isn't about you. As a priest, confidentiality within the Catholic Church is supposed to be cherished.
Absolutely, yes.
And you keep telling us all the disgusting things this man has done.
No, I've not said one thing that the man's done. Not one.
Well, now everybody knows he's done some pretty disgusting things.
Well, you have to understand, when a man goes into a confessional, he's talking to you about his sins. So you know...
To you, not all of us out here.
But you know that when you see people standing in line at a confessional, they're not going in there to say, how are you today, Father? Let me tell you the weather up on Mount Banff, you know. They're talking about their sins. So
I think your priorities are very selfish. You're not speaking for the church. Everything, it seems to be about you.
Why am I
really
giving
upset.
you... I don't understand. Why am I giving you this impression? If I'm giving you this impression, I'm sorry.
Because everything that I've heard out of your mouth is I have heard everything, the disgusting things this man has said. I have carried in my heart.
Well, I do. I carry the burden of the filth. Listen, I don't know. Are you Catholic?
No, I'm not.
Right. If you were Catholic, Candy, and you came into the confessional, do you understand that I would have to carry around with me for weeks on end what you told me?
Yes, I do, and I understand it wouldn't be confidential with you.
No, it would be confidential. I wouldn't say anything about it. I haven't said nothing about... and I don't understand, Phil, the misunderstanding. The people are...
Well, I think you're not saying anything specific, but you are saying I've carried around some... this guy's told me some pretty disgusting things.
And disgusting sexual things. Anybody who knows this person has a very bad image of this family now.
Well, no, wait a minute. No one is without sin. The Lord told us this. And you, Candy, I dare say that if you came into my confessional, I'd hear some pretty disgusting things. We are all sinners in the eyes of God until we are given our dispensation.
But within the confessional, it should not leave the confessional. But you have let it on the air for everyone to hear.
If you came into my confessional, for weeks on end, I'd be carrying around the graphic nature of the things you told me. The filth. I call it filth, but I'm not judging you. But the sexual things that you've done.
Well, you don't know what this woman has done.
Well, I could make a joke here, but I don't. With a name like Candy, I suppose you could go.
No, he didn't.
You could go a long way with that one, But no,
what is that supposed to mean? I mean.
No, is this a priest I'm talking to?
Father McQuarter, what are you, Franciscan?
I'm a diocesan priest, which is we are a priest of the diocese.
Oh,
all right.
My God. I am...
What is the lady's question? Because...
You're saying that if she came in... How do you know what she's going to confess?
And the point of the matter is because
Candy,
this gentleman who donated $500,000 to you, you're upset with the amount he's donated to you, and so now anybody who is listening to this program knows that he is disgusting and that he's done disgusting things.
I think
and everything is about you.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Carried it around.
With $120 million, do you think he cares what people think? See, there's something to think
he
about.
Probably does. He didn't expect to win the $120 million.
And I'm sure he didn't expect to hear himself care. Look at Father McQuarters. I've known you for a long time. I know you're not going to tell anybody their
I've heard your confession, haven't I, Phil?
Yes, you have, and I'd rather that you not decharacterize it.
I'm not going to characterize it. I'm going to say you're a sinner, like we all are.
Okay.
Well, you better donate some money to him real quick.
So you don't want me to say
the things you've done.
No, you don't have to give me any money. You don't want me to say anything.
You don't have to say I've never done anything filthy.
Oh, okay. You see, that...
Whoa, wait a minute.
See, that's what I'm talking about. If Candy came in, she thinks she's as pure as the driven snow. You know, as clean as a baby, you know what? Well, I doubt it, seriously. We're all sinners.
How about you, Father?
I've never said anything about that, about me, and that's not what this conversation's about.
No, I think you're... Candy, let me say this to you. God loves you, but you're coming off as if you're as clean as a baby's crack.
Not at all.
Well, you see, we...
Well, look at Father...
No, I don't want anyone to start feeling like they're better than anybody around here. This guy's got
I don't feel like I'm better than anybody.
Well,
and the point of this whole conversation was...
Like you don't wipe the same way the rest of us do? I'm saying...
What kind of a thing is that to say?
Well,
all right, hold on. 1-800-449-8686. Father James